This is Mark Kaufman, Anthology's Senior Software Engineer on the Developer Relations and Standards team, and I'm making this brief video to show you some very important things that you need to do for using the Blackboard Learn AMI for LTI and REST development. So a couple of things. First of all, the documentation is all here. We're a little light in the documentation when we say, I believe we say here, we recommend using the large tier instance type. You have to use the large tier instance type to do any LTI and REST development. Anything else will eventually fail with the 502 error. So please, when you start your AMI, use the large T2 large instance type. Okay, the second thing is always check the expiration date on startup. So if you go to your EC2 address that Amazon gives you and you open the page, well, first of all, one thing you see here is that this is not secure. It's not a valid HTTPS certificate that's there. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but we can just continue on here a minute. And you're going to see here that we give you on the startup page the expiration date. So make note of that date. There is another way to find that, and let's just go ahead and show you that because we're going to need that in a moment. So if we go here and we SSH using our let me get this right. We SSH into the system. You have to do this. You can also see the expiration date here. And then the other thing you notice is that the FQDN right now, it's the EC2 domain. And there's not a valid SSL certificate behind that. What you're going to need to do is follow our instructions for, there are other ways to install an SSL certificate into a Learn system. It can take hours to do that. We make it really easy to do here by using our support for SSL certificates. So let's walk through that real briefly. What you want to do is you want to create a file at the home directory of the system. Well, let's back up a minute. You want to get a fully qualified domain name that you can use on the public internet. I use no IP, but basically you need to assign the IP address that you got for the server, the Learn server, to the address of your domain name, to the domain name. So I use no IP to do that. You might have some other service that you use to get a fully qualified domain name and assign an IP address to it. So I go here and I go to my host names, and this is a paid service. You can't just create the name that you like. And most services for this are paid. It's not expensive, but it does cost a little bit. So create a host name, and I called this host name, I think I call it ademossl.ddns.net. So ademossl, and then I'm going to choose the ddns.net. And now I need the IP address, right? And the IP address I can get off of my instance here. Here's my public IP4 address. I'll just copy that, and then I'll paste it over here into my no IP. So now I've got that, and I say create host name. So now no IP is going to route, it's going to publish this domain name on the domain name system, the internet domain name system, and then it's going to and then we're going to use our Let's Encrypt process to give that domain a valid SSL certificate. So how do we do that? Well, we wrote some scripts that do that. Actually, our brilliant engineer who's since moved away along from Anthology, Mark O'Neill, wrote this script. But it takes the domain that you give the system, and it tells Let's Encrypt to get you a cert for that, and it installs that cert into the Learn service. So all we need to do is create a mySSL config file. So we just go here, and I basically give it my domain. That's the domain I got from my NoIP, right? And it's that domain on NoIP is given the IP address of this server, and then okay, so now I've got that set up. So now all I need to do is reboot the system, and it takes a little bit after I reboot. So I'm going to pause the video while we do the reboot. So what I just do is exactly what it says in the instructions here. So I should have in my that set up. A demo ssl.ddns.net, which is what I've got here, and it's assigned to that IP address that I got. So now I can just do sudo, and we restart the system. And now I'm going to pause the video a little bit while we wait for the system to restart. So if you're impatient like I am sometimes, you might try to SSH in and see that the connection is refused. It's still restarting. So I'm going to pause the video again. Okay, I've SSH'd into the server, and let's do this. Let's do you can see it's still starting Learn, so it's not the startup is not complete. You notice up here it says setting up Learn for new FQDN, so it's using our new fully qualified domain of a demo ssl.ddns.net. Now it says it's completed that, and it says our new address is here. And you can see my password, but that's okay. I don't mind anybody trying to SSH into this or logging into it, because I'm going to delete it after this video. And let's see, there are a couple of places that are helpful to know about. This directory is where our logs are, and BB Services log has the logs for LTI in it, and then the Tomcat logs are here. And if you view this current standard out, standard error logs, you can see that here it's saying the Learn server is started. So now we should be able to go here and this is using the IP address that we got from Amazon, and that we gave this fully qualified domain name, which we reserved on my NoIP. And then the certificate was given to the Learn server by Let's Encrypt. And voila, there you have it. We can log in as administrator. we can take our password, which is the instance ID, and we can paste that in here. And then if you're not familiar with the Learn UI, you also want to have, this is the original navigation. For Ultra development, doing UEF development, you'll want to enable Ultra, which you do right here on the system admin page. You just click enable, and we turn it on, and we hit submit, and we switch now. And now we're using the Ultra user experience. All right, thank you for watching. I hope that you find this helpful in setting up your EC2 using the Blackboard Learn AMI that you find on the Amazon Marketplace. Happy coding.